legal citizens of this country, and how are you going to enforce your edict on me, just out of curiosity?
What are you, bully now? What are you, tough guy? A long time ago, Republicans and Democrats switched to undocumented. Why? Because it seemed inhuman. That's why. They changed the vernacular, and you know it.
Nobody changed it. News Nation host Chris Cuomo going after CNN's Scott Jennings over the word illegals. Let's bring in political strategist and podcast host Tiffany Marie Brannan and the author of Do Not Comply, Will Witt. Thank you both for coming on. Will, to you first. I mean, Chris Cuomo has apparently not read the federal law that says illegal alien. What do you think about this whole back and forth?
Yeah, well, we've gone from not enforcing the border to enforcing mean language rules, which I guess is much more important, you know? But it's like you have these people on the left talking about MAPS, which is minor attracted person, instead of saying pedophile. They want to change the language because then they can kind of desensitize these things and make it seem not so bad and normalize it to the greater community. And they're doing the same thing with illegal aliens in this country. But language matters. They want to control the words, control the culture, but we can't stand down when they try and do that.
Yeah, criminals are justice involved. Remember, Tiffany, that's the whole thing. Meantime, Jacob Frey is trying to ratchet up the frenzy. J.D. Vance trying to bring it down. Here's a little bit of both of them. Watch.
This is not about safety. It's not even about immigration. What we are seeing right now is that this is political retribution. It's about causing chaos on our streets.
And the chaos that people are seeing, and I understand there is frustration of the chaos, I'd say that we're doing everything that we can to lower the temperature, and we would like federal and state and local officials to meet us halfway.
Minnesota is not going to meet them 1 inch of the way. Forget halfway, Tiffany.
No, not even a quarter of an inch, Trace. I mean, Jacob Frey is a guy that is supposed to be in charge of Minneapolis. Now, Minneapolis, as we know, has so many issues. I mean, a $250 million case of fraud right now. The state alone has probably $9 billion worth of fraud. They're dealing with illegal immigrants, they're dealing with crime, and what they're doing is they're preventing, you know, the federal agents from arresting child traffickers, rapists, criminals that they should be clearing a path for and actually assisting in arresting these criminals from doing horrific things to American citizens. So I think Jacob Frey just really wishes he was J.D. Vance.
Yeah. Meantime, Will, back to you. The late night comedians, I mean, we all know the Kimmels of the world. They bring on Democrats. They bring on almost exclusively Democrats. The FCC is now talking about kind of re-implementing this whole equal time here. And Jimmy Kimmel, who, by the way, took a swing at common sense last night, says the following. Watch.
That's how every talk show has operated since then, until this week when Trump's little ferret in the FCC, Brendan Carr, who, as you know, is doing everything he can to shut us up, the easy way or the hard way, is trying to say we no longer qualify for the bona fide news exemption when it comes to interviewing candidates, which is a sneaky little way of keeping viewpoints that aren't his off the air. It's his latest attack on free speech.
Always about free speech, but here's the LA Times. Put this up on the screen. Here's the headline. I read this morning. FCC chair's call for equal time could have chilling effect on TV and radio. Boy, usually equal, the word equal on the left is a big hip-ha hooray kind of thing. Well, and now they're calling it chilling. I don't quite get it. What do you think?
Well, I have to say first, you're very generous by calling them comedians. That's probably the first thing there. And then secondly, going into that, you know, it's definitely a tricky thing because, you know, if you have these conservative shows and things that are more on the right and then they're being forced to bring on people on the left, politicians and things like that, I can see why people would be upset by that. But what we've seen for years and years now is places like Jimmy Kimmel and these other late night shows are completely one-way biased. And I just hope that people have common sense and can watch these kind of shows and say, look, this is all garbage. This is all nonsense. I don't want to watch this. I'm going to go tune on Fox News for the actual truth. And people can choose which is the channels they watch instead of, you know, I'm not really a big government involvement guy. I hope that people can just do it that way without having to get the government involved in it.
Meantime, Joe Rogan somehow has kind of jumped on the conspiracy train. This time, well, listen for yourself. Watch.
What did they release? Did they release something recently?
No, they haven't released anything in a minute. They had that initial release where everything was blacked out, and it was that picture of Winnie the Pooh, which was hilarious.
But isn't there talk about some new releases that are happening soon?
Have they? It feels like everything's been drowned out by everything else been going on. With like the Somalians and the ICE shooting, it feels like that's completely drowned out anything about it.
I think some of that's on purpose.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting because, I got to be hiding something. What exactly do they think is being hidden?
I'm really not sure.
wish
Considering
somebody would tell me.
No, I mean, this is our weekly reminder, Trace, that Joe Rogan is a podcaster, not a conservative. He is an entertainer, not an expert.
Right.
And the reality is that if anything was in the Epstein files that was in any way damning to President Trump or the administration, Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or any of the Democrats that were in charge of the files for all these years would have released it. It would have been on billboards across Times Square. They would have used it as election fodder. They didn't. There's nothing there.
We've been covering this for years, and nobody has explained to me exactly what they hope to see or what they think is in there. It's just something big.
Magical mystery.
Something. Tiffany, Will, thank you both. Well, thousands of pro-life